So welcome everyone, and excited you guys are here. And just a little quick intro on Thiago himself. So Thiago and I have known each other for a little over a year now. We are from Innovating with AI. We started talking as far as both of us. We had no clients. We had nothing going on as far as learning. We just wanted to learn and build our AI consultancy. And we started a little bet and we started talking to each other. And throughout the last year, we became friends and helped each other grow business and bounced ideas off of each other. So a little bit about Thiago directly is he is the founder and CEO of Elevate AI Consulting. He's based out of Miami, and he is also an adjunct professor at the University of Miami, which is pretty exciting. Yeah. He's one of the leading voices for AI adoption in all of South Florida. He's known through cutting through the hype, and he helping and has helped a lot of organizations build mindset around AI, everything from governance, workflows, and things that actually make AI stick. He's done corporate AI trainings as well as boot camps. He has a lot of specialty in AEO, so answer engine optimization. He actually already did a class here in this Skool community around that. You can find it in the master classes if you want to watch that. We did that a little while ago. He personally has done custom AI development. He's currently a fractional chief AI officer as well, and he engages with small SMB clients as well as enterprise all across the US as well as Latin America. He appears as a top recommendation in ChatGPT and Claude because he does a lot with AEO, which gives him the authority to talk about it throughout Miami. And he is a case study for literally pretty much everything he teaches, which is exciting. And I'm glad to know him and work with him and consider him a friend, even though we haven't actually met in real life just yet.
Not yet, but we will.
Eventually. We'll definitely get around to that. Excellent. Well, with that, again, thank you all for joining, and I'm excited to hear about this. And yeah, Pete, you're in Miami as well, so I'm gonna have to make a trip down to Miami sometime soon here.
Yeah, so I'm sure you hate that, Dan. Like, oh, I have to go to Miami, right? Like,
yeah, darn. Well, I'll be in Puerto Vallarta soon to deal with the heat, so I'll be used to the super heat weather. All right, awesome. With that, thank you, Thiago. We appreciate your time today, man.
Yeah, no, thank you for having me. Let me go ahead and share my screen. I'm going to be switching back and forth between my actual slides and actual Claude and see how things actually work. And yeah, welcome to our Claude Power Hour, or, depending on where you are, it can be a Claude Happy Hour. Like it is just about that time here in Miami. I'm really excited to be here. I've been teaching this workshop quite a lot lately, actually. As you guys know, Claude is the flavor of the moment, right? And a lot of companies that I've been talking to have been switching over to Claude lately. And so this is a workshop that has been requested by enterprise as well as my small business clients, and I'm really glad to share it with you today. I just love getting paid to do things and then sharing them for free with others. That's very much the vibe of my business. So I'm excited to be here for sure. And so to start off, right, you've been hearing about Claude a lot. And what is Claude? It is built by a company called Anthropic that you've probably seen all over the news lately, with not just all of the different updates and amazing upgrades that they've been making to Claude, but also with a little bit of drama and some problems with the current administration here in the US. So they're definitely everywhere right now, and it is another AI tool, right? And not dissimilar from ChatGPT or Perplexity. It can do a lot of the same tasks, but also a lot more. One of the reasons that it stands out is that it's designed to be helpful, harmless, and honest. And they designed it using what Anthropic calls their constitutional AI principles. And that's actually part of the reason why they've gotten into a little bit of hot water with the Pentagon lately, and the way that they're using their AI to develop things that they didn't necessarily agree with at the company. It is more than a chatbot. You can, oh, and let me move this. I just realized that it's in the way. There we go. It is more than a chatbot, right? It's a true thought partner. Use it to write, analyze, summarize, research. It is very good at coding. And one of the reasons that stands out is the way that it reasons through complex problems. It is steerable by design. You can direct its personality, tone, and behavior to get the desired outputs that you want with less effort. And I'll show you exactly how to do that. And it's available everywhere. That's one of the really cool parts. It is available on the web at Claude AI. There is a desktop app, which is what we're going to be looking at today. It is available on mobile and many other platforms as well. And I have a slide about all the ways you can access Claude as well. Some of the reasons that it stands out, and this number may be nothing to you, but that's okay. It has a 200,000 plus token context. What that means is it can handle in a single text conversation with you just about the equivalent of 500 pages of text in a single conversation. So that means that you can upload full contracts, reports, and financials without losing the context. And this is important. I don't know if you ever had this experience. I know I did when I was using ChatGPT a lot. Sometimes you're talking to it in the same chat for a long time, and then it reaches the limit of what it can talk to you anymore in that chat, and you have to start a new one, and it kind of loses the context. With Claude, it's very difficult for that to happen. And it also has the ability to truncate those conversations and summarize some of it within its own chat so that you can actually keep chatting with it within that same chat window about that specific context that you were talking about. It has this extended thinking mode, which is what I was talking about, that it reasons through complex problems step by step. So it's not really just pattern matching and looking for a quick answer. When you give it the more complicated problems, it is actually reasoning through those in a way that's much more advanced than we've seen with other tools so far. It is very good at document analysis, which is another area that I found other tools to be lacking. So again, you can upload full contracts, financial reports, and Claude is actually processing them in full, not just the summaries of it. Again, privacy first architecture, especially if you're on the business or team plan. Your data is not being used to train the models by default. And if you are in a personal plan, I'll show you here in a little bit how to actually turn that off so you can keep your information extra safe. And it truly is best in class in writing and reasoning. As soon as you start using Claude, or at least this is what happens for me, I noticed the difference between the writing quality, especially for the proposals that I write and things for my business, emails and things like that. The writing is just much higher quality and more nuanced for tasks that require careful judgments. So some of the essential things for you to know about privacy. If you're on the business plan, as I mentioned, you're automatically protected. So your conversations are not being used to train the models by default. If you are on a personal account, you can opt out of that. In the same, by the way, with ChatGPT, you will go to the settings and turn off model training in order to make sure your information is extra safe. As always, this is not just with Claude, just with any AI tool that you're using. The golden rule is never upload truly sensitive data, right? So social security numbers, passwords, your bank details, all of this should not go into Claude or into ChatGPT or any other tool that you use. And it doesn't actually browse the web by default. The web search is a different feature that you explicitly enable. So Claude really has that privacy focus and is working with what you give it, unless you actually allow it to search the web. And one of the first times that you use it is going to ask you if you can search the web, and you can choose to say, yes, allow this time, or always allow, depending on what your personal preferences are and how worried about privacy you are. Now, let me open up Claude, and we're going to take a look at the interface. So it will look very familiar to other tools that you're already using. They just updated this interface yesterday or the day before, so they made it a little bit more complicated actually. But right away, you will see that there is a chat box right here, very similar to ChatGPT. You can upload files from here. You can make sure that this specific chat goes into a project, which I'll show you how to set up shortly. You can enable different skills and connectors, which we'll also talk about shortly as well. And as you'll see, I have here already the web searching enabled, right? And so for me, whenever I am using Claude, I am allowing it to web search automatically. And you can choose right away also the style of and the tone that it talks to you. So we have some default ones here, and you can create your own as well. Something else that you'll notice is a little bit hard to see because it's small, but here on the top right, there is an incognito mode. So just like in ChatGPT, if you wanted to not be saving that conversation that you're having to its memory, maybe you're searching for something a little bit spicy or whatever the case may be, you can turn on the incognito mode. And something else that I want you to notice here on this main chat page is that you can choose the model as well. And so the reason this is important is that one of the biggest surprises that people have when they start using Claude are the very limited usage that you have. With ChatGPT, people are just used to using it all the time and getting a ton of views out of it all day long. Claude is much more limited, especially if you're on the free plan or even the $20 a month plan. They have a lot of limits on how much you can actually use, and those limits reset every few hours. And so choosing the right model, so if for for more complicated tasks, you definitely want to use Opus 4.6, which says here is the most capable for ambitious work. But for the everyday tasks that you're doing, simple questions or simple queries that you may be doing, I definitely recommend just using Sonnet. It is their previous model. It uses a lot less credits, and you're going to reach that usage limit a lot slower. So for almost everything, use Sonnet unless you're doing some really complicated work. You select Opus, and then you can also enable the extended thinking as well. So this is for those really more complex tasks that you may be working on, where you needed to reason through complicated problems or even maybe challenge your own thinking. You can enable the extended thinking mode right here as well. And you see that there's some other models here. I usually don't worry about that. Between Opus 4.6 and Sonnet 4.6, you should be able to get everything that you need done. And if you really needed a quick answer about something that you might just use Google for example, or a quick question, even switching to this Haiku mode, which says fastest for quick answers, I recommend that as well, because again, those usage limits really creep up on you. I'm at a point now where I'm paying the $100 a month Claude plan, and I still reach those usage limits sometimes, depending on what I'm doing on my day-to-day basis. And so that is something important to know about Claude, is that the usage are there. They are focused on sustainability and making sure that their business is profitable. And so they are not adding ads to their products, they say, so far. And so this is why they do limit that usage, so that they can get more money out of you, let's be honest. So, and Elizabeth, I see that there is a hand raised. You can go ahead and have a question.
Yeah, I didn't know if you wanted to take questions, because when you're looking at it, when I'm looking between Opus and Sonnet, just trying to think like from a business perspective, when would I use one versus the other? I know for me, I do a lot of content creation or offering. So could you just give like an example of how you would use an Opus versus a Sonnet?
Yeah, absolutely. So for your everyday tasks, like queries that you're asking it, maybe even asking it to create documents for you, or things that are pretty standard, I would just go ahead and use the Sonnet model. Now, when I wanted to do deep research, when I wanted to challenge my thinking actually, and like go back and forth with me and having a conversation, I always like to think of AI as my thought partner, right? And so when I'm trying to extend my own thinking, or even maybe write the type of proposal for that I haven't worked on before, come up with new ideas, that's when I would use the Opus model. And so for the everyday tasks, definitely you can stick with Sonnet. And I encourage you to try it as well. Like run the same prompt with Sonnet and with Opus, and you can notice the difference. And one of the main differences is that the Opus, the more advanced model, will take longer to give you that answer. Also, it just takes longer to calculate and think through it. So if you're not working on anything really that complicated, just stick with Sonnet, and that will really save those usage limits for you. And let's see, it looks like, go ahead.
Yeah, then the follow-up question, because you talked about the usage limits, which like you said on chat, we don't have those same kind of usage limits. You just keep going. Is there a way to see where you are in terms of your usage limits? Like, here's how far I am, and then I could, like, maybe I dive into something or I wait to come back to it later?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll show you where that is in just a couple of slides.
Okay. Okay. So it's coming up. I was premature. Sorry about that.
Yeah, coming up. No problem. So those are the main features of the Claude interface. Again, it looks very familiar for those of you that have been using ChatGPT or any of these other tools. There are just those extra things to think about, such as the incognito mode and the model selection so that you save on your usage. Now, let's talk about your settings and personalizations and usage limits. And so this is really important for getting the right answers that you want every single time and not having to repeat yourself. We're going to go and take a look at your profile preferences, where to see your usage limits, and also where it stores its memory so that you can edit the memories even that it's remembering about you and your business. So first things first, we are going to click on Claude if you're on a Mac, and then go to settings. You can also access this in the same way from Claude on your phone or any other device that you may be using. Go to settings, and we're going to click on general. And right away, you're going to see that you can add here your full name if you like. You can add yourself a nickname, or you can tell Claude what to call you. So I have a friend, for example, that likes his AI to call him daddy, you know what I mean? And so if that's what you're into, it'll call you whatever you want, right? Just put it there and it's going to be okay. You can tell it a little bit about your work. There is some pre-selected functions here so that Claude knows what you actually do on a day-to-day basis. And then you can tell it a little bit about what your personal preferences are right here in the settings. So for me, you can see that I'm an AI consultant. I focus on AI training, answer engine optimization, and custom development. My company is Elevate AI Consulting. I am not a coder, but I use many AI tools to code, write, design, and overall manage my business and deliver solutions. And then this is the part that everybody usually likes. I tell it to tell me like it is. Do not sugarcoat your responses. Don't be overly verbose, and do not use those annoying M dashes in the responses. So if you're one of those people that hates the M dashes like I do, you can put it right there in the instructions along with anything else that you may think of, right? And so this is a really good place to put a little bit about yourself on what you do and what you like and what you don't like, so that you don't have to constantly be repeating yourself in your chats. From here, we are going to take a look at our usage. So this is where you see your plan usage limits depending on what plan you are. So for my current session, I've used 15% of my usage in the last few hours, and this will reset for me in 2.5 hours. And so for example, I had Claude Cowork doing several different things for me this morning. I reached my usage limit for those hours, and it reset at 1 p.m. this afternoon. And so I was until 1 p.m. just like waiting for it to reset so I could continue doing what I was doing. And something important to know is that there are weekly limits as well. So there's like hourly limits, and there are weekly limits depending on what you use. And trust me, it will stop working once you reach those limits, unless you have extra usage enabled. So this is something to be actually really careful of. They have your credit card number, right? If you have extra usage enabled, like I do, once you reach those usage limits, it will start charging you as you send the new prompts, and up to a certain amount that you can set a limit to. So I allowed myself an extra $100 per month that it can charge me for me to continue using it once I adjust that limit. And actually those $2.12 were spent today when I was waiting for that 1 p.m. time for the thing to reset, but I just really needed something done, right? And so this is something really important to know, and be careful if you don't want it to charge your credit card extra, or but just you don't want it to enable the actual usage at all. You can always just come right here and turn it off. And finally, we're going to take a look at the tab called Capabilities. Here is where it actually saves the memories that it knows about you. So you can select if you want it to actually generate memories or not. So if you don't want it to be remembering things, not sure why you would, but you can turn that off. You can tell it to search and reference through chats when you're talking to it. So past chats that you've had with it, look through that context. Again, if for some reason you don't want it to do that, you can turn that off. And if you click right here in the memory from your chats, you will see that it'll open and it has a lot of personal information that is remembering about me. You can read through it. And if you don't like something that it's remembering, or if maybe it's missing something about you, you can tell it right here, hey, remember this and this about me, or forget this and this, take it off your memory, and you see Dan and I talk so much that it has Dan listed here as one of my main collaborators in its memory, right? So if I wanted to, if Dan really upset me one day, I could come right here and say, forget Dan Mowinski, right? And it would actually forget that from its memory.
Oh, that's
But those are some, yeah, so there you go. You're in my memories, Dan, you see? It's amazing. So those are some of the main settings that you want to take a look at, and make sure as soon as you download Claude, go to your settings. It's really worth taking the 5-10 minutes to set it up the proper way for how you want to use it. Now, uploading and analyzing documents, it supports many, many different file types, from PDF, Microsoft Word, to CSV files, text, images, PowerPoint, you name it, right? And the cool thing is that Claude is able to read the text and the visual elements in those documents. And as I mentioned before, due to that 200,000 token context window, it means that it can actually read fully through those documents and keep the context of it. I remember I was working through this contract with another consultant that I was working with, and I uploaded the contract. And this is, to be clear, I was using ChatGPT for this. This is a few months ago. And I uploaded the contract in the beginning of the chat, and I kept talking to ChatGPT about it for a long time. What about this? What about that? And before not very long, ChatGPT was just making stuff up that was not even in that contract document at all, and it was completely taking me in the wrong direction. And so far, I have not had that experience at all with Claude. It really is good at remembering and referencing those documents. So for small businesses, some practical uses would be like summarizing key terms from a contract. If you have a construction schedule, for example, I worked with a lot of real estate and development companies, and so flagging overdue milestones and identifying those directly, identifying specific trends in a financial spreadsheet, or even comparing two versions of a legal agreement side by side. Those would be some great usages for the document upload. And one of the really powerful things about Claude, and something that most people don't understand, is that just like with any other AI tool, the first answer that you get is not going to be a perfect result, right? Unless you really wrote a perfect prompt. And 1 second, looks like somebody else is trying to come in. Let me just let them in. It's Kylie. All right. So it's important to remember that your first prompt is rarely going to produce a perfect result, and that's completely okay. I want us to think of prompting more as a conversation and not so much commands. So the cool thing about Claude is that, as I said in the beginning, it is really steerable. So it is really good at expanding on the points that it gave you in those responses. So you can say things like, hey, expand on this point for me. make this more concise. You can give it feedback, saying things like, this good, but the tone is too formal, make it more conversational, or don't add this to your following responses, or uploading an additional document and saying, hey, redo your analysis based on this new information. You can actually redirect it at any time. So you can say things like, hey, I was actually asking about X, not Y. Let me clarify to you what I actually want. And Claude will adjust immediately. And if everything goes wrong and the conversation is going off track, starting a new chat is often faster than correcting course, right? But the cool thing is that Claude will really keep all that context through those long conversations, as I was mentioning, and you can really use it as a thought partner and a conversation partner as well. Now, let's talk about projects. You're probably familiar with this from ChatGPT as well. It's a very familiar feature, and it is really your AI workspace. They're self-contained workspaces with their own chat history, knowledge base, and custom instructions, and that all persist across different chat sessions that you're having within that project. So you can, and let me show you, you can upload, for example, your brand guidelines, different templates of things that you've written before, financial models for your company. You just upload that once to your project and Claude will reference them in everyday chat. That means also it has consistent behavior. So you can say things like give it instructions to always use formal language or always cite the sources that it's given you. You set those tones in the instructions and ongoing work, right? If a project is something that you do often, not just a one-off question that you're asking, it's something that you can return to regularly and it will always reference those documents. And so as an example here that I have for a small business, creating a project explicitly for legal document review. So you create that project with your standard contract templates, maybe some previous contracts that you've had in the past, and with such instructions like always flag indemnification clauses, insurance requirements, and payment terms, for example, and it'll follow those instructions every time. So let me show you in Claude. You would click right here on the left column, you would click on projects. As you can see here, I have a couple of different ones. I have one about my company, and I have one about my health, where I upload all my health results and doctor's visits and things like that, and just have it keep track of those things for me. But in the project that I have for my company, for example, you can see here, number one, it creates a specific memory just for that project. This happens automatically. And just like in the settings, the general Claude settings, you can come here and edit what those memories are about that specific project. You can set specific instructions for that project. Again, you can see here that I reiterated to not use the M dashes. You know, I don't think it's necessary, but I just really want to make sure that it doesn't do that. And the cool part is you have a lot of capacity to upload files. And so you can see here, I have templates, I have transcripts of different lessons from the Innovating with AI course that Dan and I were a part of. Like, so they have classes about how to write proposals, how to communicate with clients. I had specific coaching calls with Rob Howard, who is the CEO of that project. And I uploaded all of those things in here that I thought were useful. A client ROI questionnaire. I have a lot of stuff here that is relevant to my business that I have in my little business project here for my job or for my company, including my brand guidelines document that I've created, my company logos and icon in different formats that it can reference and use. And this is really great because anytime I want to, and it knows my brand guidelines as well. So it knows my brand colors, it knows my brand font, it knows the do's and don'ts with my logo. And so every time that I ask it to create a proposal for me, it is actually referencing these files and doing it perfectly every single time. And as you can see, I'm only scratching the surface here. I've only used like 10% of the file capacity that this project has, and constantly uploading new things there as well, as I think that they are relevant. Now, your project instructions are where you're gonna tell Claude to behave in every conversation in that project. As I mentioned, they go. So let me just show you. If I were to create a new project, it's very simple. We could create the AI Skool project, and I'll put here a little description about what this project's trying to achieve, whatever the case may be. And you will see that it will pop up a screen very similar to what I was just showing you with my company project. And I would be able to add brand new instructions right here for exactly how I wanted to behave within that project, and the files as well. And you can even connect it directly to your Google Drive, as I will talk about in a couple more slides. What I want you to think of is that, think of it as onboarding a new team member, right? If you were to hire an assistant or an intern for your team, you'd have to give them some instructions, right? What is it that you want them to do? How do you want them to perform those tasks? It's like training a new employee. So strong instructions for your project include context. So this project is for reviewing construction contracts for XYZ business, for example. The process that you wanted to follow. So for example, first summarizing the key terms, then flagging unusual clauses, then compare it to our standard templates, the exact steps that you wanted to follow. Again, the same way that you would train a new employee, and add the tone and requirements that you want as well. So for example, using clear, direct language, always highlight financial obligations and deadline commitments. Don't use embashes, give it to me like it is. Whatever the instructions are that you wanted to follow every single time. Remember that those instructions are going to be confined just for that project specifically, right? And so if you want to set global instructions for Claude Works all the time, that would be in the general settings, as I showed a few slides ago. Now, something that is actually different about Claude is its ability to create artifacts. So it's really Claude just creating things. Artifacts are standalone outputs that Claude creates in a dedicated window, as I'm about to show you. And you can view those, copy, download, and iterate on them there directly. So I'm talking about when it creates specific documents for you. So reports, meeting notes, project plans, blog posts can be an artifact. If you ask it to code something for you, for example, hey, create me a landing page for this campaign that I have coming up, for this new project that I'm trying to promote, it will also be able to create that for you as an artifact. So HTML pages, forms, interactive demos. It can also create for you really cool diagrams, flow charts, org charts, process maps. And it really cool, as we're about to do right now, it can create interactive tools. So it can specific calculators, dashboards, data visualization things. It will create those things for you right there on the spot. And an example that I want to give here, I want to show you is, let's say you wanted to create a meeting cost calculator for your business, right? Just how, when you sit through a meeting, or when your employees are sitting through a meeting, how much money is that costing you on average? So you can very easily create that. You see here that it has instructions. Create a meeting cost calculator. For the input, let me put in the number of employees, their average hourly salary, and the meeting duration. And for the output, I wanted to tell me what that meeting is actually costing the company. So let me show you how you do that. You can do it in a regular chat and then tell Claude to save it as an artifact for you. Or you can create right here in the left column, there's an option called artifacts. You can see here some of the artifacts that I've created in the past. I've created a landing page. I created a Pomodoro timer. I've created quite a few different documents that I wanted to save here. And you can click on New Artifacts. And for this, we are going to create a little, Apple website. And let me tell Claude exactly what I wanted to create.
This one would have been good back when I was at my job and we had people that didn't show up to meetings, and like they were supposed to be there and everyone's just twiddling their thumbs sitting around doing nothing. It's like, pull this up and be like, how much is this costing the company?
Right. This meeting that could have been an email just cost us $1,000 or whatever, right? So you can see here, it is coding that for me right here on the spot. And it shouldn't take too long, and we will have our meeting cost calculator created for me. So again, you can use this to create a web page, like a landing page for your website. And it'll actually, oh, there you go. Here's our meeting cost calculator. So for this meeting, let's say there were 29 people. Their average annual salary is $100,000, and the meeting lasted an hour. So that meeting just cost the company $1,300, right? So just very fun way to create something very quickly. And it looks like it even went, so a team stand-up, strategy review, an all-hands meeting. So it even created some additional options there for me. And of course, I could go back and iterate and say, hey, actually edit this or change that. And it will create and edit that tool right here on the spot for us. And then you will find it again right there in the artifacts tab, very easy for you to access and locate it again. So very, very cool feature within Claude. Now, many of you have probably been using Copilot that's built into your Microsoft apps. Just so you know, Claude is also available as a plugin for Excel and PowerPoint. And from what I've seen, I know Tanya is like Copilot, right? Down, thumbs down. But what I can tell you is that Claude in Excel and PowerPoint surprisingly works way better than the Copilot. So it is very easy to download it. If you notice right here, let me open Claude again. When you're here in the Claude desktop interface, you'll notice that there is a button that they've enabled very easily here to get apps and extensions. And when you click that, it'll take you to all things Claude. So different things that you can download for Claude Code, the Claude mobile app, you can download it from right here. Claude for your Google Chrome, which I'll talk about shortly. Claude can actually navigate Chrome for you and complete tasks for you on the web. And here is Claude for Microsoft Office, where you can install the Excel and PowerPoint plugins. And let me just show you when you're actually in Excel. If you're familiar with where Copilot lives within your Excel, Claude is living right there next to it. And it looked the same in PowerPoint as well. So you could click right here on Claude, give it a typical prompt, analyze this, clean up this data, give me some statistics, or it can even debug errors for you, like those annoying reference or value errors or circular references that we get in Excel all the time. It can also create those for you and build pivot tables and charts, which, can I just say, as someone coming from corporate, I spent probably over a decade pretending that I knew how to create pivot tables. And I still don't know how to do that. But now I don't need to know it because Claude will do it for me. And I don't have a boss to answer to anymore, right? But it's amazing. It works really, really well. In PowerPoint, it works really, really well as well. Let's say, for example, you want to left align every single thing on your slides. You wanted to clean up your slides for you or create brand new content. It works really well with that as well. Now, another really cool feature within Claude is called Claude Skills. And that's when Claude you can teach it specific things that you like it to do. And it will do it for you like that every single time. So for example, for me, I have a proposal writing skill that I've created so that all of my proposals follow a specific format and specific tone and language. I also have a skill where I have a template for those proposals. So every single proposal that I send to my clients now looks extremely professional with my brand colors, with my logo, with proper headings and titles, and they look the same every single time because I created it as a skill. And so the even cooler thing about it is that you can create any skill that you can think of with Claude just by talking to it. So I have here an example for those of you that like to be rewriting emails all the time and you like trying different tones. So you could simply tell it, create a skill that takes any email I paste and gives me 3 different versions of that same email. So a professional, a friendly, and a direct version. So keeping the core message the same, but just adjusting the tone for each. So that is a skill that we can create in Claude, and very easily we would just start a new chat. I will tell Claude to create that skill for me, and it will code the skill, it will create it, and then you can actually you're gonna see that here saying reading skill creating instructions. It is creating it for me. It says, got it, writing the skill now. Then I'll run a quick test on a sample email so you can see it in action before I package it. So it'll create that skill for you. It'll let you test it. And once you're happy with it, as you're going to see, you're going to be able to just hit save. And now it is saved in your Claude skills and instructions. And it will do it every single time. So it is showing me skill written. Let me run a quick test before packaging. It gave me a test email. Hey, Daniel, just wanted to check in about the proposal I sent over. And then it gave me 3 different versions. So a more professional version, hey, Dan, I want to follow up on the proposal I submitted. A more friendly version, hey, Dan, hope you've been well. I wanted to circle back on the proposal. And a more direct, Daniel, following up on the proposal I sent 2 weeks ago, right? So and then it'll tell you what will trigger this skill. Pasting an email and any mention of tone, rewriting, or one inversions will automatically trigger the skill. The output will always be labeled as those 3 different versions. And how does it handle edge cases, right, or exceptions? Short emails, conflict emails, one-tone requests, and emails with or without subject lines, it will automatically fix that for you. And then once, if I'm not happy with it, I will give it further instructions. Maybe, for example, add one more tone that is whatever we want it to be, rude, right? And it would actually add that as an additional skill. And you can see right here, the easiest thing in the world is just going to hit save skill, and it will actually save this for you. And again, it will reference it anytime you use one of those trigger words that it told you about. And you can review it here in more detail. It is showing you exactly what it considers professional, friendly, and direct. And so, again, you can use skills to like create custom templates for you, documents just the way that you like, and so on and so forth. There's so many different uses for this. And again, once you're satisfied with it, just hit save skill, and it is saved for you forever. I'm not going to save this one because I already have an email writing skill that I created. So I don't want to mess with that. I'm happy with how I write my emails.
Hey, real quick question. I had somebody ask me this the other day, and I didn't know how to answer correctly because I don't use skills myself with Claude yet. Somebody asked what the difference was between like a custom GPT and skills.
Yeah, so it's actually very similar. You can, in ChatGPT, create a custom GPT. The difference is that every time you want to use that custom GPT, you have to go to that custom GPT, open it up, and then type in your request. A skill is just something that you create. It is installed in the overall architecture of your Claude, and it automatically references that every time that you use one of those trigger words. So you don't have to go and open that custom GPT in order to access it. Does that make sense?
Okay, yeah. And you can also pull in a skill like in a current chat. So if you're chatting for a little while with Claude and then you realize, oh, I could use this skill, before we would have to like go over to a custom GPT or go over to a gem and start over to get that exact output that we wanted. But now we can just do it within the
any chat. Yeah, so once you click here on save skill, any chat that you're in, that you use one of the triggers, it'll automatically reference that skill.
Okay.
Yeah. And Elizabeth, you had a question as well?
Well, 2 questions. One of this, before it said to install settings skills, when you say save skills, that's automatically going to be in there. Is that down like that? Down, it almost feels like there's an upload thing. Is that if I were sharing that with a team member, or if Dan and I were working with something? Like, what does that to install mean?
So a couple of things. Save skill means install. So and that's a really good question. Thank you. So that will automatically save it to your Claude, and it'll reference it all the time. Now, let's say you created a skill that you really, really like and you want to share it with someone. There is also the download button right here. It'll download it onto your downloads on your computer, and you can send it by email or by Slack or whatever to somebody, and they can just very easily open it and install it in their own Claude as well. So if you got a friend or someone else on your team, you can be out there, create skills for everybody.
Excellent. And then is there a way to see like what skills I've already created? Like where would those live? Are those in your settings?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you go to your settings and you click here on connectors and customize, you can see all the different connectors, which is good. This is the next thing that we're about to talk about. And you can see all the different skills that you're right here. Yeah, so I have a skill for writing proposals. I have a skill for my brand and how I wanted to have my document. And then I have a skill creating skill for like more additional skills that I want to create sometimes. And this was actually shared with me by from Sean from our Innovating AI group. And there's this is getting a little bit more advanced and complicated, but yeah, it's very meta. A skill for creating more advanced skills is what Sean created and sent it to me as a gift one day. So very cool stuff, and that's where you would actually find it.
Oh, and that's a perfect example of somebody sent that to you as a gift, and that there are more advanced things, but I at least got the basics. Thanks, T.
Yeah, no problem. So let's talk about connectors, and that's just simply connecting Claude to all the tools that you use on a daily basis. So you can connect it, for example, to your Google Drive and your Gmail so that it can search and analyze your documents that you have in your Drive or even your emails. Gmail, again, find your emails, drafting responses in context. You can connect it to Slack if that's something that you use all the time, and many, many more as I'm about to show you. So for example, if you use Notion, if you use Gamma, I don't even create my Gamma presentations anymore. Now I just talk to Claude through what I want to create, and I just tell it, create the Gamma. And Claude actually does it for me. If you're using Asana, Salesforce, Outlook, there are many, many more that you can actually connect it to. So let me just, again, show you where that lives. You would go to your settings and capability and actually connectors. And you will see here that you can browse connectors. And there are so many different things in there, from Hugging Face to Atlassian, Gamma, as I mentioned, Figma, Jotform. It'll create jot forms for you. Monday.com, if you're using a CRM, you can connect it directly to PayPal, Notion. You can connect it to your Stripe. You can connect it to Superbase, Vercel, Wix to manage your website directly if you are a Wix user. And Miro, it'll create Miro boards for you and add content to it. And you can just browse through this, and you will see that there's many, many more tools being added every single day. And yeah, Tanya, I see that you have a question.
Yeah. So
you got cut off. I didn't hear you.
Uh-oh. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I have all these tax papers on my laptop, so sorry. I'm almost done though. I'm in my state side, so I'm good. But quick question about Gamma or whatever you call it. I just found it 2 weeks ago and I'm in love with it. And for you to say that you can connect Claude to it, are you still paying though? Because I am using it so much. I'm not on the free plan anymore, the free tier with Gamma.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Dan, I think, kind of warned me about these things early on. But are you paying for Gamma even through Claude?
Yeah. So these, just to be clear, right? It'll connect to your existing accounts on all of these platforms. So you would connect once you click on Gamma and you click connect. It'll prompt you to log in to your Gamma account, and then that's how to create those based on whatever plan you have. So similar for any of these other apps and websites that you see here, it is limited to what you have with those apps. So the plan that you have, it can only see what you see. It can only see what you would usually do. And so, yes, unfortunately, I'm sorry, there's no way to get out of paying for Gamma. I also pay for it. But I think it's the best. It's the best. I don't even remember how much, $10 or $20 a month that I pay for it. I think it's worth every penny, right?
Yes, exactly. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. So yeah, I'm just scrolling here so you guys can see is an endless list of tools that Anthropic has partnered with that you can connect with and then just manage directly from. So that is a little bit about connectors, and definitely make sure that you connect all your main tools so you can get the most out of it. Now, similar to ChatGPT, it also has here is just called research mode, but in ChatGPT it's called deep research mode. It works a little bit differently on Claude because Claude is actually running multiple search agents and building them on top of each other, exploring different angles automatically and synthesizing everything into a comprehensive report. And it usually can take between 5 to 15 minutes to give you an answer. And so when do you want to use that? Let's say you're doing a competitive analysis or market research, investigating a new vendor, technology, or regulation, or even a new client, or new leads that you have come in. When you're preparing background for a client or investor meeting, or just really any question that you need thorough multi-source analysis, this deep research or just research mode is really, really great for that. And you can access it very easy by just clicking here on the plus sign for our main chat, and you would select here research. And again, it will use all the different connectors and skills that you have enabled. It will search the internet. It does take about 5 to 15 minutes to give you an answer. But when you need that output that is just more thoroughly deep researched and sourced, it is a great skill to use. And I find it to be better than the deep research mode in ChatGPT as well. Now, this is a little bit more advanced, and hopefully we can do a follow-up session about Claude Cowork specifically, but I want you to be aware of what it is and everything that it can do. So where the Claude chat is more geared towards conversation and everyday tasks, Cowork is essentially a full-powered agent that can do your work for you. So it is really good at planning and execution, really transforming Claude from a conversation partner into an active executor. So you describe your task and Claude will plan and execute it directly on your computer, interacting with your local environment. It can take over your entire computer if you allow it to. It can connect to Chrome through the Chrome connector plugin. And it returns finished deliverables, formatted spreadsheets, memo, reports. It can organize your folders. I know a lot of us have messy folders that we've been meaning to go into and organize forever. It can do that for you. And the cool part is that you can steer and approve each step before it actually takes action. So it doesn't require any technical background, and it can even run specific tasks on a schedule for you. And I can show you how to do that. So what can Claude Cowork actually do? If it's repetitive, messy, or taking too long of a task, that's the perfect task to assign to Claude Cowork. So as I mentioned, file organization, so tidy up your messy downloads and automatically rename your files, sort them, deduplicate your folders in your drive. It can pull metrics from different dashboards, even just online dashboards that Claude can't connect automatically to. It can connect to your Google Chrome and seamlessly drop them into weekly reports and templates, draft content for you, so scanning different source files in your computer and producing structured draft reports based on your specifications, recurring workflow, so a scheduled task, something that I have doing, for example, I have Claude Cowork running a scheduled task for me every single morning that looks through all my entire inbox and my sent messages, matches them against each other, looks through my documents as well for all the different chat transcripts from my Google Meets. And I start every single morning with a summary of everything that is pending, things that I need to follow up on, things that I need to do for that day, or even things that I mentioned in my call transcripts with my clients that I said that I would do and that are still pending. So every morning I wake up with that summary and it runs on a schedule. And it connects with all your tools. So your Google Chrome, your Google Drive, your Gmail, your Slack, your Zoom. It can look through all of those different things and connect them together in order to run tasks for you. So one example of a scheduled task. So, well, first of all, you will see here that there's different modes for Claude. So there's Claude Chat, and then the next tab over is Claude Cowork. So I have it running for me, doing my daily email summary every single morning. I also have it running for me, generating leads for my business every single morning. So I have it connected to Apollo, and I have it searched through LinkedIn, and I have very specific instructions every single day. Look through these zip codes over Miami, finding the contact names of the business owner or the HR, the people ops, whatever it is that you may be interested in. And it adds those automatically to a spreadsheet for me that I then have another automation created that sends out cold emails. And this runs for me every single morning. It is generating 50 new leads for me every single morning. And I don't have to do anything. It just runs on a schedule. Another really fun one, more on the personal side. So the closest store that we have to us whenever we want something quick is a CVS. And I don't know, for those of you that are not in the US or maybe don't have a CVS around you, it's a store, it is a pharmacy, but it's usually a little bit pricey and they run a lot on coupons. So every time that I'm about to go to CVS, I come right here to Claude Cowork and I tell them, go on the CVS website and clip every single one of those coupons for me, so that automatically by the time I get to the CVS store, every single coupon is clipped. And so if I buy something that there's a coupon available for, it's automatically already added into my account and I'm saving money that way, right? So just a fun example of different things that you can do. To wrap us off here, other ways to access Claude, you can access it on the desktop app as I've just been showing you. You can enable the Claude for Chrome plugin so that it can take over your Chrome. And that's how it actually is able to go to cvs.com and log into my account and clip those coupons for me. Claude in Slack, as I mentioned, if it's something that you use for your team. And then there is a mode called Claude Dispatch. And what that means is you're able to send tasks to Claude Cowork or Claude Code, which is another more advanced mode that we didn't talk about today. You're able to dispatch those tasks for you directly from your phone, and it'll take over your computer and do it for you. And so that when you get back to the Claude desktop, it is there waiting for you and ready to go. And so key takeaways for us here today: Claude is more than a chatbot. It is a thought partner. Upload freely. That 200K token context for chats means that you can really upload large documents. Use those projects to essentially set up different knowledge bases and custom instructions for different tasks or for your business just once, and you benefit from it every single time. It is great to iterate, treat Claude like a coworker, and remember that those first drafts are just the starting points. Extend Claude by using those skills, creating new skills, and connecting it to all your favorite tools. And remember that if you're on a business plan or Teams plan, your conversations are private by default. But if you're on a personal plan, make sure that you go to your settings and turn off the model training. And that is going to be it for me today. The last thing that I want you guys to remember with any AI tool is that you are actually the one bringing the intelligence, right? The AI is just the tool. So rely on yourself, rely on your critical thinking skills, and you're going to always be able to get the most out of it. And the last thing that I'll ask is if you enjoyed the workshop today, please scan this QR code real quick and give me a review. It really goes a long way for a small business like mine, and I'll really appreciate it if you can take a second to do so. And then, what say you? What do you think about Claude?
There you go. This is amazing. Thanks, man. I really appreciate this. I knew some of that, but some of this is still new to me because I haven't been playing around with Claude too much. So I'm impressed. I was happy. I learned quite a bit on this side. What about everybody else? I know we're 5 minutes past. If you have to jump, please do. But you guys learned something? Was this beneficial?
Very.
I'd say it was just a perfect intro. Like it was a really nice overview that's like, this is what it's capable of, but you gave me like little steps. So I see how I can use it and grow with it. Thank you, T.
I'm glad. Thanks, Beth.
Awesome. What, so you guys are the ones that showed up. So what do you guys think about doing like a more advanced, maybe one just on Claude Cowork?
That would be great. This is Tanya over here. I invested in Claude Claude Cowork here. Everything has happened, I guess, in the last 2 or 3 weeks for me. Everything's going very, very fast. Thanks to Thiago, honestly, having that training last week, I think it was, on the AEO. But yes, I think that would be really great. But yes, you've given me some things to think about and to start experimenting with my Cowork, since I'm paying so much for it.
You may as well use it. Yeah,
Exactly.
get into the flip those coupons for you.
I know. I saw that and I got excited because I sometimes struggle when I'm standing there with my phone trying to get the app to work and all this stuff. So anyway, thank you for that. This is great.
Thank you.
All right. Okay. Well, excellent. Well, thank you all.
I would love that. Oh, sorry, Dan. I was going to say I would love to do a session with Claude Cowork because one thing I know, I've set up my files, my folders, following different other people who are talking about it, but it's not loading them on. You know that there's a theory that we used to go to the cloud and now we're coming back down to keep the files on the computer, but it's not something I'm not doing right, that it's not keeping on my computer, but I'm very much at the amateur level of Claude Cowork, and I'd love to talk to you and Thiago about taking a deeper dive. Yeah, so thank you. This was good. I think Elise just said it best. This gives you the panorama what's out there, and we got to learn how to do these things. Which would be
Just gotta get in there and give it a try. It's just about using. The more you use it, the better and more natural you become at it.
Yeah.
So just don't be afraid. You're not gonna break anything. Just go play with it. It's a fun toy, actually. Have fun with it. So
totally. I've already, loaded it onto my Microsoft Office, so it's already showing up in Excel. One of the key takeaways for me was the skills thing that I've been playing with it. I'm, kind of, unafraid that way, as you say, Thiago, and I would get some cool stuff. What I didn't realize is that cool stuff I should be turning into skills, so I don't have to reinvent it every time or look to see which chat that was and try to, reinvent the wheel. So yeah. So thank you for this. That's great, and more to come.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Pete. And Pete actually might be talking here pretty soon within the Skool community. Pete helps people a little bit with making them bestsellers and helping them with books. And he helped me actually for myself. So I'm an international bestseller, and Pete actually helped me with that. So I don't know, I'm going to bring him in. Him and I were talking about doing something sometime this month. As
you all know on this call, is just, he's very modest. He's the dynamo. I probably just inspired him more than anything, and he did all the work.
You helped me, Pete. It's all good.
To the feed, and he ran with it, which is, he's well known for it, which is great. But yeah, it's like I've been using that. It's a good topic for us someday too. Is that to what extent do you use AI to write things? I have my own opinions there. Mostly, I use it for research, and polishing up. Because if AI is going to write our books, they can't reproduce our stories. Like Thiago has a story, Dan has a story, Elizabeth. Every one of us has our own stories. AI doesn't know that. So that's the beauty of it. You could write authentically if you just preserve your stories and preserve your voice. And so that's a topic for a different day. But yeah. But
we'll bring that in. We'll talk in detail.
When you're moving, Dan, when are you moving?
June 1st.
Wow.
June 1st. All right. Awesome. Thank you. I know we're 10 minutes past. Thank you all very much. And thank you, Thiago. We appreciate your time, man. And hopefully you all were happy. And thank you very much. No sales pitch, no nothing. Just enjoy. Hopefully this was helpful to you and make use of it. All right.
Yeah. Thank you for having me, Dan.
All right.
We'll talk soon.
Bye, everyone.
I'm sure.
Thank you.